Yo, yo, what's up, Alex and Jet? Happy Sunday. Favorite day of the week. Getting into the new trading week. All good, brother. All good. Everything's good over here. Excited to be honest with you. I'm really excited to get paid out with E8. Haven't had a prop firm payout in months. Just been building that personal, and yeah, it's gonna be nice to yeah, I think it's just over 90K US, so it ends up being about 115 or 118,000 Canadian. So full disclosure, yeah, my internet has been absolutely terrible. We've had 2 power outages in the last week, and yeah, like I mean, obviously these two things shouldn't be directly correlated, but for whatever reason, I'm having some major issues with our provider, and we're going to be looking to switch over this week. So if we do kind of conk out a little bit for the next couple of days, just yeah, just bear with me. We're working on getting another provider in here for a better service. It's just yeah, right now, unfortunately, there's only so much I can fucking do without setting up a hotspot on my phone, which obviously is not ideal. So yeah, you can just see how long it takes to load to go from page to page. It's yeah, pretty awful, to be honest with you. Cool. Yeah. So looking at look at a few pairs and just kind of do our thing over here. Yeah, so as it stands right now, weekly on GU is hella bearish. To me, we have a weak low. Obviously, we can see that we've sort of liquidated this region right here. Boom, come down, come back up into supply on the weekly, very similar to EU's PA on the weekly as well. So I think it's reasonable to say that we're headed down into this region. Obviously, there's going to be people trying to take demand trades in here, but I think we're likely going to visit a consolidation period on the weekly, potentially in and around this region. Likely see a liquidation, and then possibly see maybe a higher time frame trend reversal. We don't want to get too carried away with all these different predictions. Bottom line is we are entering some form of a weekly demand, so we can expect to see possibly a pullback from here. Very difficult to say. But yeah, if you get down onto your lower time frames, you can start to see a lot more of the details as to what's sort of happening here. Let's go over to the daily first. So yeah, we've liquidated the low. We've come back down and mitigated into this region. We could potentially start to see some higher pricing from here, complex pullback of some sort. And then ideally, like once we kind of break above this, we could start to look at potentially what could happen at these levels. But yeah, again, it's really just going to depend on how we develop further. Yeah, what kind of news is going to factor into all of this. So I would say that right now, let's go down to our 4-hour. I honestly think that we are going to see a rollover in price in here. Personally, I don't necessarily think that we're going to hold too much demand in these regions, just because, quite frankly, we still got liquidity below the low. There's only so much that we can do like this before we sort of snap down and maybe take something into this level. That would be something I would maybe look to trade. But yeah, as it stands right now and how I'm looking at price right now, it looks like we're having a hard time really breaking anything relevant or anything that is going to solidify a higher time frame reversal. So as it stands, looking at this, it's a break of structure as good as anyone I've ever seen. So it's just now it's a matter of are we going to see some form of a complex pullback, sweep into here, possibly drop down. Very, very difficult to tell at this specific point in price. But yeah, I mean, looking at, let's look at this demand zone. Technically, there's some demand in here. Cannot discredit that or anything because we now have an interaction between supply and demand. We could potentially look for some longs in here. Even though we're against the 4-hour leg, we are pro 15-minute order flow as well as pro 15-minute structure, right? So I had taken sells, I believe, off of this level to be able to take this essentially down into here because that's the next area that is going to give a reaction. But I still think that for whatever reason, we should end up dropping through this low. Again, nobody knows for sure. Target liquidity is the number one thing we want to do, and target where the next reaction would come from. And in this case, for me, it's going to be in and around this region, depending on how this lines up. Obviously, we could potentially start taking this into EOF EOF highs and potentially take this a lot higher into something a little bit higher up into here to induce all this level and then possibly drop down. So again, it's just going to depend on how it develops, what things sort of look like. But as it stands right now, start looking for criteria in here. Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. But yeah, just be cautious as we are technically fighting the higher time frame order flow, which is to continue downwards. Cool. That's it. That's all. Let's go over to EU. So that was for GU. So EU, very, very similar kind of setup here. This looks like a liquidation of that last little bit. We could potentially see one more stab at this and then maybe drop down. Very, very difficult to say as it stands right now. We could potentially start looking at this as a demand level. Now, if I get down onto, let's go to my 15. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so this is pretty well my internet's been doing for like the last 3 days. Fucking awful. Fucking terrible. Remove all these drawings. Yeah, so if you're looking at this, right, like I believe this was off of news, if I'm not mistaken. Like, look at this. Is there any level of liquidity to take into the market right now? Right? Like, there's nothing to take into this. This becomes liquidity, for me at least. Yeah, so I have a hard time kind of justifying that this is going to be a strong low with no liquidity to take from it, and this is going to end up getting ran and then possibly seeing something pull back. That's kind of how I'm interpreting this right now. So proceed with caution on that. Like I said, you know, the trade that we were kind of looking for, I would say that like there's something possibly up in here, you know, above these levels, depending on how we sort of look at this. What area on H4 would need to go to confirm bullish order flow on the higher time frame? Well, in order to confirm bullish order flow, yeah, we're like, I mean, order flow is like it switched to bullish here, but I mean, higher time frame intention is to continue to roll over, right? The objective is to take out this low. So like really for bullish order flow to actually kick in, like I need to see this high get taken before this low gets taken, right? Which would basically confirm that we are trying to make a series of new lows, new highs, new lows, new highs, right? Against the higher time frame lags. So yeah, we're very much in a bearish trend, and we've been in the bearish trend for like almost 2 years now or something like that, I think. Yeah, don't fight it, right? Like get aligned with what's already happening in the market. And even this entire price lag that took, I don't even know, when was this? This went from May 11th all the way to almost a month. Yeah, 20 something days in price for this to end up doing what it was doing. To be fair, probably would have waited 20. I probably should have waited just 20 days to wait till this thing topped out at the higher time frame supply zone, and then just get online or aligned rather with the higher time frame intention, which is to essentially take out these lows, right? So, yeah, bullish order flow would get confirmed for me. Basically, once we've so bullish order flow started here, but then we chalked back down, right? So order flow has realigned. Yes, we've chalked back up, but the idea is that for the trend and the structure to continue in the way that we're hoping it does in terms of some sort of a bullish alignment, we would need to see at least this break to be able to confirm bullish order flow in the higher time frame. Make sense, Jet? Keep things simple, man. I mean, yeah, this is good. This is an order flow shift. But like this would confirm order flow, right? Once this low gets mapped in, the idea is that this will continue like this, right? Cool. So that's it for On EU, there's liquidity above. No? Whereabouts are you looking, brother? Right here?
Yes, yes.
Yep, of course, of course. There's liquidity above. Now, again, so it's going to depend on, so right now we've got 2-week levels, right? Technically, because we've had order flow realignment here. So that would technically prove that this should be a weak area. However, this looks like a liquidation of this zone and coming into more of like this flip zone to be able to take out this low. And I think this will get ran as inducement to go a lot lower, personally. So we do have a weak area in terms of order flow shift. I think it would be silly to say that like this is just going to take out this level. I think more than likely what's going to happen is we'll take out these levels first and then possibly go after deeper areas of price coming up into these regions. So is there liquidity above? Of course there is. Any structural level is going to have liquidity at the at the tops and bottoms. But yeah, I think realistically these lows should go first in terms of expectational order flow. That's just my thoughts. No worries, man. XAU. Okay, let's go to the daily, weekly. Okay, so weekly. Okay, you can see that we've taken the high. Okay, just did a case study on this with part 2 of the boot camp guys that I had from last weekend. And if you look at this, I mean, it's the basic laws of weak high and weak low, right? This fails to create a new high, right? What does it mean about the low that creates it? More than likely it's weak. We've already broken through, right? Now we've matched the high. And more often than not, we're going to come down into at least, right? At least into the 50%, right? Into the equilibrium of the leg. And then furthermore, we'll have to watch for order flow realignments. So I think higher time frame sells are in order. Now, whether or not we come back up for one last stab and then drop down, you know, that's obviously yet to be determined on the weekly. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be some weakness across the board for gold, and you can just see this liquidation, right? Holding that bitch full lots. Yeah, I'm going to try to get into a nice sell on my personal to kind of hold this a little bit longer term, to be honest with you, now that I've kind of got gold back in there or into the rotation of pairs that I like. I'm like really liking how this is setting up. This is a huge fucking trade that will more than likely come to fruition in the next little while, coming down into, you know, likely down into this demand range right here, this reaccumulation. What do we have here? Yeah, it's like a 500 pip move. You know, it's a 25% move. Just on gold alone, that's massive. And this thing, like when it moves, it fucking moves too. So, but yeah, this would be like probably a few month trade, right? To kind of hold this full lots. But yeah, you would open like, what I would probably do is something like this. We're getting a little bit off topic here, but what I would likely do is probably open 2 positions, 2 different 1%. And one of them I would be a little bit more aggressive with management. And the other one I would just, yeah, let go risk free, basically take my risk off with the other position that that I open, and then just be able to hold this and then intraday trade as necessary on pullbacks as well as pro trend stuff. So yeah, looks like to me we've built a lot of liquidity to be able to take from the market. We do have stuff to target at some point, but yeah, as it stands right now, I think there's going to be some weakness that is going to come on gold. Could see obviously something along the lines, like I said, coming up into here and then dropping first. But yeah, just remember, like there's going to be so many fucking opportunities, right? So many, like when there's a big trend reversal like this, like there's so many opportunities to get in, and everybody thinks that they got to get in here, right? This is the point everybody wants to get in, and ideally that's what you're going to want to do. But the thing is when we're pro order flow, pro structure, like, man, there's a lot of good fucking trades in here that you really aren't going to have to worry that much. And you can just see it, right? Like this is literally primed for a melt. There's liquidity, there's taken liquidity, we're pushing down, reaction, higher time frame flip zone, done. Looks like a Wyckoff distribution schematic if I've ever seen one. I'm not a big Wyckoff guy. I find it a little bit confusing, to be honest with you, and there's too many variables to sort of depend on, but it does look like a distribution. I mean, here's the bottom line. What did we do here? We took liquidity, we left some behind. Doesn't it? LTT, LTT, and then we go down onto our lower time frame, what do we get? Order flow shift, right? Look at liquidity to take, liquidity to target. If we come up into here, boom. Internal liquidity, man. Look for a sweep. Where could we sweep into that's unmitigated? That's always like, that should always be the question. Where's the next place that could get mitigated, that could trick people to get onto the wrong side of the market? And for me, it's up in this range, right? This is an unmitigated, uncharted territory up here. Tons of internal range liquidity. Boom, take this, fucking dump city. So much goddamn shit to fucking target. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, we could possibly look for some longs to come up into here and then drop like a bag of bricks, right? Cool. That's my thoughts for, yeah, Sunday look ahead and Sunday forecasting session. I would say that this is probably my area of interest. If I was to look at a weekly, ideally, I would like to see something come up into here. Doesn't mean we can't take longs up into that region, right? Just follow the flow chart. For pro 15-minute structure, pro order flow, send it. You don't have to fucking target just this though. You can just target weak areas, right? The next liquid region on the timeframes that you like to use. Cool beans. Super easy stuff. Yeah, anytime that you're lost in the markets, guys, you know, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that there's not more people that join this specific call, because I find this is the clarity call, even for myself. A lot of times it's very easy to get sort of mixed up, even in 4-hour and like 15-minute stuff, and you kind of lose sight of what the bigger picture is and what's actually happening in the market, as opposed to what's happening intraday. Use the same time frames for gold as EU on, yeah, same thing. I haven't used anything different. I'm just looking at like higher time frame, yeah, what's happening on that higher time frame to just understand the overall sentiment in the market. But yeah, everything is identical. There's nothing different that I've done so far. If something changes, I will gladly tell you, but I've had no reason to do anything different. Yeah, happy Father's Day to anybody who is a daddy-o out there. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of this. I am personally not a father, but I'm a dog dad, if that's anything. I'm not sure what that stands for, but anyways, story for another time. Cool. You're all of our daddy. Yeah, well, I mean, you're not wrong. Oh, damn. Listen, guys, if you haven't already, I've obviously incentivized the, you know, leave a review, all that bullshit. And I don't want to keep giving out these call to actions because I feel kind of cringy and awkward about it, to be honest with you. But it's something that's necessary for us to build credibility. And again, only leave a review if you feel that you are in a place where you have enough information to actually do it. And if you don't feel like you can do it, it's not a big deal. I think what we're going to be moving forward is we're going to incentivize leaving a review per month just on your progress. We'll have different kind of cues and questions that we would like answered within the reviews. And again, we are not looking necessarily, like, obviously the idea behind it is to you know, harvest some good reviews. Don't get it twisted, but we'd like to know where we stand, right? We're trying to understand where we sit with our community members. And like, in order for us to grow as a community, in order for us to grow as mentors, teachers, for Dave to help alongside with journaling, whatever it might be, and the coaches and the team members, we need to know where we stand. You know, and if it's something that you're just maybe not quite comfortable with, you know, saying to, like, on the public reviews channel, if you want to reach out to myself or Dave, I wouldn't say necessarily reach out to any of the team members, no offense to any of the team members, but come see Dave or I so that we can understand where we sit, and then we can also have a meeting with all of our team members as well. We're looking to, you know, ultimately provide the best content that we possibly can to be able to make sure that we are a consistent community. So can I ask you what your vision is for this community? And by the way, you're doing great. I appreciate that. So right now it's kind of interesting because we are very much in the process of developing what our vision is for this. So I can't give away too much right this second. We have a lot of stuff that we have planned, and Dave will probably cut my fucking head off if I leak anything out, because he's explicitly told me don't use your big fucking mouth, especially for the new stuff that's coming. So I'm just going to leave it right now. All I'm going to say is that we do have a lot more clarity in terms of what we'd like to do and where we're moving. And it's all going to be announced in due time. We're just making sure that we're kind of dotting I's and crossing T's on everything that we do want to bring forward. But one thing I will tease is that we are going to be developing weekly homework where you will actually potentially be graded on it. And it'll actually open up different channels within the Discord server to be able to be, so essentially what will happen is, and again, I'm not going to give away everything, but let's say we give out a homework assignment, 5 different weeks of homework, and you score in the top 10% of people. Ideally, what's going to happen is we're going to have an integration to be able to get you funneled into people who are at a similar sort of level within trading, and you'll exclusively have different chats. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. We do, like I said, we have all kinds of different things in the works. It's just a matter of dotting I's and crossing T's, where it's one step forward at a time. And lots to come. We're literally just scratching the surface now, right? Like, our community is essentially brand new. We're not even 6 months old. So hopefully you guys are sticking around long enough to see these things. And I'm super excited to bring them forward. It's obviously just taking some time to do it, and doing it properly is ultimately the most important thing for us. We're still capped at 150 right now. So the way that we're going to be segregating people is, again, that's a big part of the reason why we're going to be doing homework, is every single tier of the percentile that you sort of score in with your homework will have a group that will never breach probably 100 members. And each one of those groups will have their own dedicated coach for the caliber of trader that they sort of are. And the reason we're doing this is obviously, like, we're trying to scale the community. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I think it would be silly on my part, as well as the on the business's front, to kind of cap things and only have one specific area where people can kind of sit in within the Discord server. So opening up different channels to people who essentially score high in testing or participate in testing, whatever it might be. We're gonna basically have different channels that will be unlocked for different tiers of traders, which will never be more than 150 people per channel, exactly what you're doing right now. But the only difference is you'll have people that are more on your caliber, and as you progress through trading, you'll unlock different channels, is the idea. So we're nowhere near that. Like, do not stress. Like, we're probably a year away from all of these things to really start getting integrated properly and really starting to flow. But I don't think you're ever going to have to worry about what you may worry about with larger communities where it's just a free-for-all. The idea is that we're here to try to fill the gap in the market with education and how we sort of deliver. And I think we've got a pretty good system in place that we've talked about, and now it's just kind of bringing it to life and making sure that we are segregating these people and these traders into groups that resonate with their level. Master Trader Joe, watch out for Joe, guys. Will you be looking to expand the team in the future or currently? Yes. So like I said, so the way that we're going to be setting it up, and again, I can't give everything away, but I'm going to wrap this up after this question. The idea is that we'd like to have one coach per 100 members, so that we have, or possibly two, depending on London, depending on New York. But the idea is that we're going to group people based off of how they score on the tests that we give out every single week, so that we can, again, kind of allocate coaches that are going to make sense for that specific group, if that makes sense. So lots of cool like integration stuff that's going to happen. It's going to take a little bit of time to obviously get there, but we're working forward to obviously getting these things out as soon as possible, and I'll keep you guys posted. So anyways, that's it for working every day, man. It's going to be very challenging. It's going to be, very, very challenging. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but we've got a good group of guys and girls on it. So looking forward to kind of tackling this thing. So anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see you guys, tomorrow for the trade recap, I believe is the next time we meet. And there will be no trade look ahead, obviously, because that's kind of what we do on Sundays. So just FYI, this will kind of be like the daily look ahead. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later.